Alright, this is going to be my top 20 least favorite Pokemon. Reason I'm doing 20 is because I really couldn't narrow it down to 10. So I just picked 20 mainly because, like I said, couldn't narrow it down. And I wanted to be different and talk about all these Pokemon that I just don't like. Either I don't like them because of their design, because of their look, because of how they battle, combination of whatever of all of them. Or some of them might have just pissed me off in competitive battling, to be honest. But other than that, this is my opinion. So, with that being said, hope you enjoyed the video. Number 20 is Spindove. Why don't I like this Pokemon? Well, for one, it's useless in competitive battling. Let's start that off. It does not evolve. It's a useless normal type. And quite frankly, it just sucks. It has all these different patterns and stuff. I think it's got like 4 million patterns or whatever, and it doubles counting shinies and crap. But why would you want to catch one of these things and use it on your team? Like, I see no point in this thing. I don't even think this thing has even appeared in the anime. That's how much it sucks. I mean, even sucky Pokemon have appeared in the anime. I mean, you see Glameow owned by a freaking main rival, and it sucks. And I mean, this Pokemon just sucks in every way, shape, and form. There's nothing redeeming about this Pokemon. Reason it's this low is because it's not really a Pokemon I dislike, it's just one I don't really care for. So yeah. Next entry, number 19 is Voltorb and Electro. Everyone seems to hate on this Pokemon, no one really seems to like it, which I don't blame anyone. It is a stupid concept. It's an upside down Pokeball. That's all it is. And what's its special ability? It explodes. Like, there's nothing good about this thing. Even when you find a shiny one, it explodes. The shiny explodes. I've never used a Voltorb in Gen 1. I didn't even bother with Voltorb. Mainly because I went to go find the Zapdos that's in the end of the building in the power plant. Needless to say, that Zapdos took forever to catch. But yeah. So I've never used one, never had any desire to use one. Why would you want to use one of these things in competitive battling? Its stats aren't that good, and its best move is to blow itself up. That's really it. So yeah, that's it for Electro and Voltorb. 18 is Sutouto. Oh, what to talk about with this Pokemon? It is a Snorlax ripoff, that is all it is, and unlike Snorlax, it ain't even good. It's a useless rock type that should be a grass type. It's just like Snorlax, and it blocks your way, and you have to go get it out of the way. But at least Snorlax does it better than this thing, and at least Snorlax is worth catching. Somewhat worth catching. I've only used the Snorlax on my team once or twice, I think. But yeah, this Pokemon is useless. Its stat sucks. I don't even ever see this thing in competitive battling because no one's gonna use it. I mean, it's a derpy looking Pokemon. It's a stick with a face that should be a grass type, and it looks like it has Mewtwo fingers. Like, really? Like, what was Game Freak thinking with this thing? A freaking rock tree, really? Done with this one. Next entry. Number 17 is Mr. Mime. What don't I like about this Pokemon? Let's see. 1, it's a mime that speaks. Mimes don't talk. For 2, this thing is somehow Psychic Fairy. Gardevoir becoming Psychic Fairy, that made sense. Because Gardevoir looks like a fairy type Pokemon. This thing looks like Bozo the Clown from The Simpsons. That's what this thing looks like. Like, seriously. I want to just throw a pie at it. Because it looks like a mix between a mime and a clown. And ironically, it's a psychic type. How funny. But yeah, this thing is stupid to use. It's horrible for competitive battling, which now that it's a fairy type, it might get a little bit more use out of competitive battling. All I know is if I see this thing in competitive battling, it's going to meet the fist of my Toxicrow. I'll say that much. So yeah, next entrance. Number 16 is Togekiss. Now this is going to be a new one because not too many people hate this Pokemon. I can't stand this thing. This thing is overused and it's a pain to take out. Even as a normal flying type, it was a pain to take out for my team. Now that it's fairy flying, it's going to be a major pain to take out. And it's already OP as heck. Now it's going to be really OP now that it's fairy type. And I already can see everyone using this on their freaking team on Showdown, which is going to be a pain in the butt. Which is why now, just like with dragon types, all my Pokemon know either Bullet Punch or Poison Jab. Poison Jab, Bullet Punch, and Ice Beam. I mean Ice Punch. Just to make sure, Ice Beam or Ice Punch, just to make sure pesky dragon types and fairy types don't rear their ugly head. Like I said, I hate fairy types, and this is just one of them I cannot stand. So yeah, next entry. Number 15 is Stunfisk. What do I not like about Stunfisk? Well, first of all, it looks like a bird that got run over by a steamroller. Second of all, it is supposed to be a fish that got run over by a steamroller, but it looks more fish-like than bird-like. For 3, it's a ground electric type. So yeah, it's supposed to be an electric flounder, but it only learns one water type move by level up. So that's a contradiction. And what's the point in making it a ground type? That just makes it weak to water types. And rock types. And several other types. Oh, and grass types. So all that did is just give it another weakness that it didn't need. And this is possibly one of the worst designed Pokemon I've ever seen. Like I said, it looks like a bird that's been ran over by a steamroller. So yeah, I really do not like this Pokemon whatsoever. No one uses it in competitive, and if they do use it in competitive, they use it as a joke, or they're trolling, or whatever. That sort of crap. Its stats are terrible. Its movesets are terrible. Everything on this Pokemon is terrible. With that, we're going to go to the next entry. Number 14. Klinklang. All this is a bunch of gear stuck together with faces. I did not mind Magnemite whatsoever. Magnemite was cool looking. This thing looks like crap. And it's not just because it's a Gen 5 Pokemon. So I like all of the generations. Gen 6 probably being my second or third favorite, probably, actually. I don't know. But yeah, this Pokemon looks like crap. It's a crappy Pokemon. It has crappy stats, and this is a third evolution Pokemon. What was Game Freak thinking with this design? It's gears stuck together. Granted, Magnemite is 3 magnets stuck together, or 1 magnet. But Magnezone looks really cool, so that kind of balances everything out. But yeah, even though Drio is more creative than this thing. So yeah, we'll get to the next entry, because I have nothing left to say about this freaking worthless piece of garbage. This thing, per ugly. I mean, this thing has ugly in its name. It looks like a cat that ate too much and just got fat. Like, really. I mean, at least Snorlax is supposed to be fat. Cats aren't supposed to be fat. And when cats are fat, even they don't look like this. They're still somewhat Granted, I hate cats anyway. But yeah, Glameow evolves into this thing. If you ever caught a Glameow, you would never, ever, ever, ever want to evolve it. That would be the one time that stone would come in handy. I think it's called an Evert Stone or an Everett Stone, whatever. A stone that doesn't evolve your Pokemon. Yeah, I would be using that on Glameow, just to make sure it never evolved into this thing. It's useless in competitive battling. It looks like crap. And it makes me miss Persian. And I didn't even like Meowth in Persian. So, yeah, that tells you something. This thing, I never see this thing used in competitive battling because no one even likes looking at the thing. Why would you even want to evolve it? I mean, the only reason I could see catching this thing and evolving it is to complete the Pokedex. But even then, it would just rot in my PC. But yeah, Next, 12 is the Santa Claus of Pokemon, Delibird. What can I say about this Pokemon? It learns one move present. A move that has a 20% chance of healing your Pokemon, of healing your opponent. I mean, why would you even want to use this thing? Why would you catch this thing except to complete the Pokedex and then let it rot in your PC? I mean, this thing can learn moves by TM, but it has garbage stats, so why would you want to waste a TM on it? This thing doesn't evolve. It has no use whatsoever. It's just one of those random Pokemon that are just there. And this thing's supposed to be like a rare Pokemon. It is crap. I would never, ever, ever, ever catch a Delibird. Ever. Period. Even to complete the Pokedex. Because this thing looks... I just hate this thing so much. It looks like complete and utter garbage. And there's so many better ice types. I mean, Lapras, Weavile, Abomasnow, Miloswine. I mean, I can go on and on. That are so much better than this thing. So much more useful than this thing. But yeah, that's all I have to say about Delibird. Bird. Next. Number 11 is Exploud, or Explouder, however you pronounce it. Basically, this thing is based off of an organ. Okay? It is a normal type, and it is completely useless. Garbage stats. It's a 3-stage Pokemon. And how does a little pink thing evolve into this? Like, I remember seeing this in Gen 3, and I caught it just to see what it evolved to, and I was so disappointed in what it became. This thing is a useless normal type. It's basically, its moveset is around being loud, hyper voice, all that crap. It's a useless normal type with garbage stats. No one ever uses this thing. It is a complete useless type Pokemon that's just there. Like, why would you even use this thing? It's such a crappy Pokemon. Like, I don't ever see this thing in competitive battling or anything. Because there's so many better normal types you could pick from. Raticate. Fucking Lickitung. Even Lickitung in its first stage. I mean, fucking, Snorlax. Even Watchog and all of them are better than this thing. Tauros, Miltank, etc. I could go on and on normal types that are better than this thing. Even like Go-Goat and all of those other dual normal types. So yeah, I really can't stand this thing. It's just a derpy looking, stupid looking Pokemon that is just there. Next. Okay, now here's where I get loud. This thing. 6 psychic eggs evolved into a freaking coconut tree. When I hear Gen 1ers talk about how great Gen 1 was, in Gen 1 we got this thing. 6 psychic eggs that evolved into this thing. How do eggs become a coconut tree? And why would you make 6 eggs psychic and a coconut tree psychic? This thing is completely useless. The only way to get this thing is to use a leaf stone on it. Why would you waste a leaf stone on this thing when there's so much better things you could use a leaf stone on? I mean, you could use it to get a Vileplume. Vileplume is so much better than this thing. You could use it to get a Shiftry. Shiftry is so much better than this thing. This thing is weak against 7 types. I mean, Shiftry is weak against 7 types, and it's better than this thing. I mean, it's never used in competitive battling. I rarely see it used in competitive battling. I mean, Blue had this on his team in both the manga and in the game, and I don't know why Blue would have an Exeggutor on his team. It's so useless. I mean, this Exeggutor only had 3 moves in the game. It was so bad. There's no point in using this thing, catching this thing, evolving it, wasting a leaf stone on this thing is horrible. I mean, you got one face that looks like it's happy, sad, and one looks like it's on drugs. And Executor has like a brain crack and everything. And how do 6 eggs hatch from one egg? And how did those 6 eggs stay together? And even the Pokedex says its head can fall off. How are heads supposed to fall off? I get with coconut trees, coconuts fall off the tree and crap like that, but this don't make sense in Pokemon. It makes no sense. This thing is one of the worst Pokemon to ever come out of Gen 1. Voltorb is better than this thing. I would use a Voltorb before I'd use this thing. Because at least Voltorb only has one weakness, ground. And Voltorb has so much better stats than this thing. But yeah, I don't think anyone likes Exeggutor, and if anyone does, they're crazy. Time to get into the next one. Next. 9 is Rhyperior. I hate this thing. This thing is supposed to be an evolution to Rhydon. It looks terrible. It looks nothing like Rhydon. Granted, Rhydon needed an evolution, but this thing is no evolution. It looks stupid. I just hate how this thing looks. I hate its design and everything. I just hate it. No one ever uses it either. I mean, in Gen 4 we got Magmorta and Electivire. So much better evolutions to Magmar and to Electabuzz. They look so much better. I can't stand this thing. It just looks so stupid and everything. Ooh, I hate this thing. There's really not much I can say about this thing other than I hate it. I hate how it looks. I hate its design. I hate everything about it. It looks so dumb. Next. Number 8 is Licky. Freaking Licky. Now, I love Lickitung. Lickitung is cool to me. I mean, it's based off an anteater, as far as I'm concerned. But this thing is horrible. Lickitung evolves, it gains 400 pounds, loses the length of its tongue, gets an Elvis hairdo, and has a full Wi-Fi signal. I hate this thing. This thing is the most derpiest, stupidest looking Pokemon I have ever seen. I mean, Lickitung loses the length of its tongue, it gets fatter, it has a Wi-Fi signal, it has a freaking hairdo. It's just like, ugh. How does this improve on Lickitung's design? I mean, they hit with Magmorta and Electivire, and they bombed on Rhyperior and freaking Licky. And that's another thing. Of all names to give it, Licky. Like, really, I remember the first time I saw this thing in the anime. I forget his name. That one dude used it against Ash. I mean, he had a freaking... And he has a Dusknoir of all things. He has a cool looking Pokemon like Dusknoir, and then he has this thing. Of all Pokemon to have. I would never use this thing in battle. I mean, this thing is the Miley Cyrus of freaking Pokemon. It's so derpy. Ugh. Next. Number 7 is Shuckle. What I don't like about this thing. First of all, this thing looks like the damn turtle from Mario that you always have to jump on and shit. And if you jump on it wrong, it'll slingshot and hit you. So that's one thing I don't like about this thing. Second of all, it has ginormous defense stats. It's a pain in the ass to kill. And when people use this thing in competitive battling, they freaking use protect, iron defense, baton pass, power split, all this crap, and this thing is just horrible. Now, if someone uses power split on it, I'm freaking happy, because then I can take it out if I don't get hit first. But this thing is so much of a pain in the ass to take out. I hate this thing. Hate it. I've never used one because of how I am. I'm offense. I don't play defense. I don't use protect. I don't use substitute. I don't use any of that crap. I just hit, attack. I don't play defense. Defense is for cowards as far as I'm concerned. I'm attack. Just sweep the whole team. I only use strong Pokemon, and this thing is a piece of crap. I hate it. I hope this thing never ever gets an evolution. Because I hate seeing this thing. Every time I see a Shuckle on someone's team, I'm like, oh, this is going to be a long, dreadful battle. And I'm just like, ugh. But yeah, next. Number 6 is Nosepass and Evolution Protopass. What I hate about this thing. First of all, this thing looks so stupid. It's supposed to be based off an Easter Island head and a compass with a mustache. I get it. It's supposed to be like the magnetic mustache type thing toy that we used to have as a kid. But it still looks stupid. What a stupid design for a Pokemon. I hate this thing. Especially in like Gen 6 when the Steel guy uses it. Freaking this thing has 30. And freaking all it does is freaking sturdy. And freaking Hyper Potion, sturdy, Hyper Potion. And finally he runs out of potions and then you just kill the thing. It looks so stupid. Just, ugh. Why would Game Freak even design this Pokemon? Nosepass and Protopass are just dumb Pokemon. Can't stand these things. I've never used one, never will use one, never caught one, never have caught one, never will caught one. This thing just looks dumb. And to make this thing evolve, you have to do the same thing you would with Magneton to get it to Magnezone. And why would I waste my time doing that when I could try to evolve my Magneton into a Magnezone, which is exactly what I did. I used the Magnezone in Gen 6, and freaking I love Magnezone compared to this thing. It's just, ugh. It's stupid. It has garbage stats. It's just like, ugh. I hate this thing. Worst Pokemon ever. One of the worst Pokemon ever, I should say. Ugh. Next. 5 is Jynx. Okay, let's start this off. Jynx is the most ugliest woman I have ever seen. This thing is terrible. It's an ice psychic type. No one ever uses this thing. And I think I've only ever heard one person in the Pokemon world that says they like this thing. Why would you like this thing? I don't know. It's got garbage stats. It's horrible. This thing is supposed to be like the sister of Magmar and Electabuzz. And a lot of people want this thing to get an evolution. I don't. Because God, imagine if this thing got an evolution. It would be even uglier than what it is. I mean, this thing is what, based off of hookers? I mean, really. As Nate Wants to Battle says, it looks like a freaking hooker. Anyone that says Gen 1 has the best Pokemon, here's an example. Jynx. Freaking Jynx. How is this a good Pokemon? I challenge the Gen 1 to defend this thing. It is a terrible looking Pokemon. This makes Gardevoir. I mean, Gardevoir is so much better psychic type. There's so many other better psychic types. Alakazam, Gardevoir, Gallade, etc., etc. So many better ice types. Abomasnow, Lapras, Weavile, Frostlass, Glalie, etc. So many other better Pokemon to use than this thing. No one ever uses this thing in competitive battling, thank God. Because if I saw this thing in competitive battling, I would hit it immediately with a Shadow Ball. And faint it immediately. Because of how ugly this thing is. I don't even want to look at it. I mean, just looking at it now on the picture makes my eyes burn. That's it for this one. Next. Number 4 is Dragonite. God, so many Gen 1ers worship the ground this thing walks on. And I can't stand this thing. Salamence and Hydreigon are so much better dragon types to use than this thing. And its pre-evolutions, Dratini and Dragonair, are awesome. How does a blue snake thing become a 400-pound yellow dragon with tiny wings? Like, really? And this thing is a pseudo-legendary. That's not what a dragon's supposed to look like. That's not what a pseudo-legendary is supposed to look like. I can't stand this thing, and everyone loves this thing. Immediately when I see this thing, I want to feint it immediately with an Ice Beam or an Ice Punch. Because I hate this thing. This thing is an ugly-looking, terrible Pokemon. It looks like freaking... It looks like a happy-go-lucky clown type Pokemon. It looks... I hate it. And everyone in competitive battle uses this thing. And I don't know why. It's got good stats and everything, but I still would never use this Dragonite. I can't stand Dragonite. I can't stand its fan base. It's overrated. It's more overrated than Charizard. I will say that right now. It is way more overrated than Charizard. One or two Ice Beams will take this thing out like that. Everyone uses the same thing with all dragon types. Dragon Dance Outrage with all of the dragons. It's the same exact move set. And this thing learns freaking other moves too. Thunderbolt, Ice Beam, all sorts of things. But I can't stand this thing. Every time I see a Dragonite on the anime, I want to puke. And just like when we see the giant Dragonite in the series. This thing is a pseudo-legendary, and it's a crappy pseudo-legendary. It was the first pseudo-legendary, and it's a crappy pseudo-legendary. So yeah, if any of you Dragonite fanboys want to cry, I don't really care. I hate this thing. Next. Number 3 is Bouffalant. This thing is basically a buffalo based on a hairstyle from like the 60s or the 70s or whatever. And this is a hairstyle females used to wear. I hate this thing. This thing looks stupid. We already had a perfectly good bull type Pokemon in Tauros, and Tauros was perfectly fine the way he was. I just can't stand this thing. This thing looks terrible. It's a terrible Pokemon. And it's one of the reasons that Gen 5 gets criticized so much because of it. And even, I like Garbodor more than I do this thing. Garbodor. I like Garbodor more than this thing in Trubbish. I like Vanillux more than this thing. Because this thing, at least Vanillux and Garbodor are somewhat original. This thing is a bull with a hairstyle. That's all it is. I hate this thing with a passion. When I first saw this thing, I thought it was an evolution of Tauros. And when I found out it wasn't, I was like, thank God it's not an evolution of Tauros. Because if this was an evolution of Tauros, I would never evolve Tauros. Ever. This thing makes me cry just looking at it. It just looks so terrible. I hate this thing. I hate this Pokemon. It's just like a... It's... Oh, breathe. This thing is a terrible, terrible, terrible Pokemon. And the thing is, it's actually good to use. It's a good Pokemon. I see it in competitive battling a lot. But that doesn't change the fact that it's a stupid looking derpy Pokemon. I hate this thing. And I mean, its head charge signature move is named Afro Break in Japanese. I mean, that just says it right there. I mean, that's really all I have to say. This Pokemon is dumb. I hate this thing. Next. Number 2 is Blissey. What I don't like about this Pokemon, it's OP, it's overhyped. Thank God it didn't get a fairy type. I thought it would. Thank God it didn't. This thing is OP as hell. It's a tank. And people that use this thing freaking use I think it's soft boil to heal this thing, and then just keep attacking you until your freaking whole team is dead. The only real way to take this thing out is with a strong fighting type move like close combat, super power, or cross chop, or focus blast. This thing is a tank, and it's a pain in the ass. This thing has pissed me off so many times in competitive battling, it's not even funny. Every time I see a Blissey, I just want to hurl. This thing is such a pain in the ass. I hate this thing with a passion. It has cost me so many battles, and it has beaten so many of my Pokemon, and it's taken me so long to freaking get a strategy just to get this thing down and out. I love taking this thing out in one hit with a cross chop, a focus blast, a freaking super power, close combat, something like that will take it out like that, thankfully. But that's the end of this rant on this thing. Number 1 is Klefki from Gen 6. This thing is a fairy steel type. It's floating freaking keys. Okay. Everyone knocked on Honedge when it first came out until they used the Honedge, and now Honedge is like one of the most number 1 Pokemon to come out of Gen 6 when it evolves into Aegislash. Everyone hated on Chandelure. Everyone still hates on Chandelure. I love freaking Chandelure, but here's the thing. And everyone hated on Golem, something like that. Golak. But at least those 3 type Pokemon are ghost types. I can believe a ghost type possessed the sword. I can believe a ghost type possessed the chandelier. I can believe a ghost type possessed the suit of armor. This thing is a fairy type. It's not even ghost type. So how am I supposed to believe that keys are living? How am I supposed to believe that? That really, a set of living floating keys. And with this thing being steel type, you can't hit it with a steel attack. You can't hit it with a poison attack. So there goes negates its weakness right there. Its only weakness is fire. Which completely pisses me off. The only way I was able to take this out in the Elite Four was Mega Lucario and Close Combat. One hit KO. Knocked it out like that. My Toxicrow was useless against this thing. This thing just pisses me off. It's the dumbest Pokemon I've ever seen. Like, people were like, what's Game Freak gonna come up with next time? Talking about Chandelure and stuff. Chandelure is awesome. I mean, it's a ghost type that possessed a chandelier. So that, in my opinion, was an awesome type Pokemon. The Ice Cream was good. Garbodor is okay. But this thing is a set of floating freaking keys. It just pisses me off in every way, shape, and form. Why did Game Freak come up with this Pokemon? I get they were trying to come up with fairy types, but all their fairy types suck except for freaking Xerneas, Granbull, and Gardevoir. And the only new one is Xerneas. Oh, I hate this Pokemon. Well, that's it. This is my top 20 least favorite Pokemon, and Cuffly is my least favorite Pokemon. See you next time.